Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on diabetes technology and blood sugar. I'm excited to see so many of you here today. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll explore the latest advancement in diabetes care and how monitoring blood sugar levels has evolved. Our presenter today is Marie-Josée, an expert in this field. But before we dive in, I'll let you introduce herself. During the presentation, feel free to use the chat for your questions. We'll ensure all queries are addressed during the live QA at the end. Without further delay, let's give a warm welcome to Marie-Josée as she guides us through these informative sessions on diabetes technology. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Celia. All right. So, yeah, my name is Marie-Josée, but please feel free to call me MJ. I am a dietitian and also a certified diabetes educator, and I have a passion for diabetes technology. So, today we'll be talking about different ways of checking your blood sugars. And we'll have time at the end of the webinar for any questions that you may have. So how do we check blood sugars? So for the longest time, we've been using what we call a glucometer. So you have an image on your right. And so we've been pricking the finger, placing a drop of blood on a testing strip to know what the blood sugar is. Now, most people with diabetes find this method painful and also cumbersome because of all the extra supplies that you need to carry around. Now, it still has its place in diabetes management, absolutely. However, there are new ways of testing your blood sugars, and these technologies have been on the market for a while, but I still think that they're being underused. So the two different types of technologies, we call them continuous glucose monitoring system, or CGM. That's much shorter. So we have two different types. So we have the intermittently scanned continuous glucose monitoring system, and then the second one is the real-time glucose CGM. All right, so the reason why I'm showing you this image is because it's important to know what's the difference between using a glucometer and using a CGM. So when you use a glucometer, when you're picking your finger, what you're doing is you're really reading the sugar in your blood. So as shown in the picture with the red line at the bottom, so this is the bloodstream. So this is where you go measure the blood sugar. However, when you're using a CGM, you're not measuring the sugar in the bloodstream, but you're measuring the sugar just above that. Okay, so we call that section the interstitial fluid. So basically, when you wear a CGM, you have a little sensor that is inserted just below the skin. So you'll see in the image on top, you have the sensor, and you see there's a little line that goes down. So when you wear a CGM, it measures the sugar in that fluid and not in the bloodstream. Why is that important? Because if you start comparing your glucometer blood sugar results to your CGM results, you'll notice that there's going to be a difference, and that's completely normal. And the reason for that is because sugar enters in the bloodstream first and then goes up into the interstitial fluid. So yeah, this is the only reason why I wanted to make sure that you understand this little part. Okay, so now we have the two different CGMs. So the one on your left is the intermittently scanned CGM, and then you have the other one on your right, which is the real time. Now, it is a fast-moving technology, and we have intermittently scanned CGM that is moving to being a real-time CGM. But for now, I'm going to explain them separately. So if we start with the one on the left, the intermittently scan, this is when you wear a sensor on your arm, and it's the size of about a quarter. And so basically the insertion is very easy. You have an automatic applicator that you put on your skin. You just press a button, and then the sensor is going to go in automatically. Before the sensor starts reading your blood sugar, it needs to warm up. It needs to get ready. And so there's a a 1 hour warm up period before the sensor starts reading your blood sugar. And then afterwards, it will start reading. But in order for you to see the result, you need to take your receiver or your cell phone and you need to scan that sensor. So when you scan, you'll see what your blood sugar is. Okay. And this one you can wear on the arm, and you need to change it every 14 days. Now, if we move to the real-time glucose CGM, so this one, there's more than one company making this type of CGM, so they kind of work a little bit differently, but the sensor can vary in size. So it can be as small as a nickel to maybe a little bit bigger. And the insertion is still very easy, where you have the automatic applicator, you put it on the skin and you press. Now, this one you can wear not just on the arm. You can wear it on the arm if you want to, but you can also wear it on the abdomen or the lower back. Okay. This one, the warm up period, so before the sensor starts to capture your blood sugar, will take anywhere between 30 minutes up to 2 hours, depending on what kind of system you have. And from there, when it's ready, you do not have to scan the sensor. This is the difference between both sensors. This one, the results will go automatically to your cell phone. And so you're going to be able to see in real time what your blood sugar is. So now these are the two systems. There's a little bit of a difference as well in the alerts that you're getting, but this is something that if you connect with a certified diabetes educator, we can certainly go over that. But in both cases, it measures your blood sugar continuously every 5 minutes. Now, what are some of the good things to know about CGM technologies? So it is indicated for people living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, be it, it could be kids, it could be adults, pregnant women, and also Diabetes Canada says that everyone with type 1 diabetes should be using the real-time CGM, and people with type 2 diabetes may use the intermittently scanned or the real-time CGM if they're willing to use it on a daily basis. So these technologies are waterproof, so you can wear it in the shower, you can go swim with it, you can wear it for 7 to 14 days, and this is really dependent on the system you get. So if you compare when you test on your fingertips, you can test anywhere between 2 to 8 times a day versus in this case, we're not doing fingertips. It's just you insert the sensor that will last for a longer period of time. No more finger sticks. So this is not for all CGM. There's still one CGM on the market that we have to do what we call calibrations. So what that means is you have to pick your finger, and the result that you're going to get with your glucometer, you're going to have to let your CGM know. So you're going to calibrate it to make sure that it's working properly. But most of the other CGMs, you do not need to do that, unless your CGM gives you a blood sugar value that does not match the symptoms that you're getting. So for example, if the CGM tells you your blood sugar is 2.4, but you feel completely fine, then you're going to doubt that value. And this is when you're going to do what we call a blood glucose meter check. So you're going to use your glucometer just to make sure that it's not 2.4. So if it reads 5.4, well, then you're going to have to go and inform your CGM. Some CGM connect with insulin pumps. Some CGM also have an alarm feature. So now this is where also the system differs, because if you use an intermittently scan, so the one that you have to scan, you can actually ask your CGM, listen, don't let me cross my low limit of 4. And if I do cross it, please send me an alert. So the cell phone will beep, so oh, I have reached my low limit. I need to do something about it. As opposed to the real-time CGM, you get what we call predictive low alerts. So the CGM will let you know 20 minutes before you go low. So it's really like a preventive technology where you can do something about it before ending up low. You can prevent from having low blood sugars or even high blood sugars if that's what you want to you want to do with this technology. And CGM uses apps and websites to show you trends and patterns. And it's really cool because you can just very quickly look at your cell phone and have an idea about your blood sugar management on the go. So this is an example of the type of info that you could easily see on your cell phone. So just quickly by looking at the colors here, you see that green. So green represents target range. So for this person, 63% of her blood sugar values are within target range. This is awesome. Then you see that 34% is high, which is represented by the yellow color, and then 3% very high, represented by the orange color, and no low blood sugar as indicated in the red. So it's easily accessible, and you can easily understand just by looking at the colors. All right, so some CGM can also be set up so parents and partners and caregivers can be alerted when your blood glucose is dropping quickly when you're asleep. And I find this is very useful with young kids. If you are a parent of a young kid with diabetes and you want to have your separate bedroom, you can have your child sleeping in her bedroom, and you can be in your own bedroom and yet have your cell phone alert you if her blood sugar goes low, so you can wake up and go and assist your child. Or it could be something like you have a partner that has a business meeting in BC and you yourself, you're in New Brunswick. And if your partner is having a low blood sugar in BC, you can be alerted on your cell phone in New Brunswick. And this will happen if you have access to the internet. And how is this important? Well, you know what? You can call the hotel. You can ask someone to assist, to go just check up on your person. So it is very reassuring in this way. Some CGM let you add notes of when you eat, exercise, and take medicine. So that way you can assess how those activities affect your blood glucose throughout the day and night. So it's a great educational tool. Like I said, there can be a difference, so a 3 to 15 minute difference between interstitial glucose level, so when you use a CGM, and blood glucose level when you use a glucometer. And this difference will be even greater after meals and when you exercise. So whenever your blood sugar is changing rapidly, you'll see that difference being a little bit greater. And some CGM connect with a watch, which can be very useful if you like to walk, you like to run without having to take out your cell phone. You can just quickly take a look at your watch and see what your blood sugar is, so you can be reassured. Okay, so now we have two graphics. We'll start with the one on top. So basically what you have there, if you start at the left, you'll see 000, which indicates midnight. So the first section is the overnight. Then you have morning, afternoon, and at the end of the graphic, you have in the evening. So the gray line that you see going across, this is target range. So this is where we want the blood sugar to be. So this person on top, she checked her blood sugar 4 times during that day. And if we look the first dot, which is around like breakfast, it looks like as if like her blood sugar was around like just a little bit below 10. But we have no clue if it's a stable 10, if it's going up, if it's going down. And then it looks like she checked just before supper, which was in target. Awesome. But then after supper, it went up a bit. So when you check your blood sugar this way, with a glucometer, it measures the amount of sugar in your blood at the time you check it. So you don't really know what's going on. Like looking at this, I would think, maybe we need to look at supper time. What type of foods are you eating? Are you getting enough of the medication or insulin at supper time? However, when you wear a CGM, you get a totally different picture. So if you look at the graph at the bottom of the slide, see how there's a line? So when you wear a CGM, you get a measure of your blood sugar every 5 minutes. And so it gives you the full picture. And by looking at that, you know what? Maybe my focus is not going to be at supper time anymore because it looks to me like the bump is a little bit more pronounced at lunchtime. So it's a great educational tool for you. But also, if you bring this report or if you share it with your healthcare provider, it's much easier for them to recommend a treatment therapy because they have a full picture instead of bits and pieces, so you can achieve better result quicker. Now, why should you use CGM technologies? Well, like I said, because it guides you in making appropriate day-to-day treatment choices in diet, physical activity, as well as insulin. So, for example, looking at the graph that we just saw, maybe at first, if you go see your healthcare provider, that person would have been tempted to maybe, increase insulin at supper, when in reality, maybe it was more around lunchtime. Also, you can assess the effect of certain foods on your blood sugar. So you can eat something, and 2 hours after, you can just look at your cell phone and see what's the effect of the foods you're eating. And you can also just assess the effect of physical activity. Like, for example, hockey. How does hockey play into my blood sugar versus walking? It guides your healthcare providers in treatment planning, like I said, and also for individualized treatment plan. This is very, very important. It improves diabetes quality of life. It reduces A1C and it improves time in range. And actually, some CGM were shown to reduce A1C by 1%, which is very significant. It improves recognition of low blood sugars and high blood sugars. Like I said a while ago, it's even like preventive technology. You can do something about it before you end up low or before you end up high. And it's a great educational tool, like I said, and it really empowers you regarding the effects of your lifestyle on your diabetes management. Some of the drawbacks. Some medicines can affect the accuracy of the reading displayed on your CGM. So, for example, depending on the system you're using, vitamin C, Tylenol, aspirin can affect these results. And so it's important to just discuss this with your certified diabetes educator so you know how to manage maybe I would say not use a CGM if you're taking Tylenol because you're sick. Maybe in those times you're going to want to use your glucometer. That would be wise. Same thing if you're sick or dehydrated, or if the sensor is not inserted properly, it's going to show results that are maybe a little bit higher or lower than they actually are. And so in this case, if, for example, you're sick, it would be, again, a good idea to use your glucometer. And CGM can be costly without insurance coverage. So how can Alerka Health help you? So we can connect together and see if CGM is right for you and for your lifestyle. We can do the training and also the installation. So virtually, we can show you how to insert that sensor. We can help you set up the CGM apps. And also here, we can just look together to make sure that your cell phone is compatible with this technology, because if it is not compatible, then you're going to have to use a separate receiver. And also we can do education on how to, read the reports that I showed you a while ago and what to do with that information. And we can navigate the coverage options, because I know that sometimes that can be overwhelming. All right. Well, that is it for my webinar. The floor is open for questions.
Thank you, MD. write them in the chat. Um, we'll be waiting for them. All right, MD, I think you've been extra clear. All right. Anyone? Otherwise, I guess we'll give you 10 minutes back of your time.
All right. Well, you know what? If you come up with a question later today, don't be shy to send it to client care, and they'll just redirect the question to me, and I'll reply it back to you.
Yes, of course. So let's just me double check. No, there is no question actually. So thank you all for being part of this insightful session on diabetes technology and blood sugar monitoring. Special thanks to MGs for this expertise shared. Um, you will keep exploring this learning as we will be sending out the handout and the replay by email later on today. Thank you very much and see you next time.